As the stories about Aion have passed down through history, one stood out for its interesting details. It was a story about Aion's encounter with the god of love, Eros. One day, Aion was walking through the forests of Greece when he saw a young boy with wings, carrying a bow and arrow. The boy was Eros, the god of love, who was known for shooting people with his arrows to make them fall in love. Curious about the boy's power, Aion approached him and asked, "Eros, do you truly have the power to make anyone fall in love with just one shot of your arrow?" Eros, proud of his ability, replied, "Yes, Aion. With one shot of my arrow, I can make anyone fall in love, no matter who they are." Aion, feeling skeptical, asked Eros to prove it. Eros agreed, taking out his bow and shooting an arrow through the air towards Aion. The arrow didn't hit him directly, but it landed on the ground near him, releasing a cloud of golden dust. Suddenly, Aion felt a strange sensation inside of him. He looked around, confused, until his gaze fell upon the goddess Cybele, who was nearby. In that moment, Aion felt a powerful surge of love for the goddess, his heart racing with passion. Eros, pleased with himself, smiled as he watched Aion and Cybele's love story unfold. From that day on, Aion and Cybele were inseparable, and Eros knew that his arrow had once again done its work. This tale of Aion and Eros shows how even the god of time and the universe can be susceptible to the whims of love. And it reminds us that even the mightiest of gods and goddesses have a vulnerable, human side. Once upon a time in ancient Rome, there was a young man named Aion who was often depicted nude, and represented eternal and cyclical time. He was commonly shown within a circle that represented the Zodiac, symbolizing the cyclical nature of the universe. Interestingly, Aion could also be presented as an old man, as he was connected to the cycle of time. According to the Dionysiaca, Aion was associated with the Ori, who were the goddesses of the seasons. Nonnus, a poet and writer from the 5th century AD, described Aion as the twining serpent. This was a reference to the Ouroboros, which was a ring formed by a snake holding the tip of its tail in its mouth. This image was linked to the cyclical nature of the year and time. Servius, a 4th century Latin commentator, noted that the snake biting its tail represented the cyclical nature of the year. Horapollo, on the other hand, differentiated between Aion and the Ouroboros. He stated that the serpent that hides its tail represents Aion, while the Ouroboros represents the cosmos, the serpent devouring its tail. Through his imagery and symbols, Aion's association with time and the cyclical nature of the universe was represented. As time passed, Aion remained an important figure in Roman mythology, reminding people of the eternal and cyclical nature of time. Once upon a time, in ancient Greece, there was a figure named Aion who was the subject of much scholarly debate and interpretation. According to Martianus Capella, Aion was associated with Cronus and was believed to be the consort of Rhea, who was identified with Physis. Additionally, he was conflated theologically with Kronos. However, Franz Cumont's reconstruction of Mithraic cosmogony interpreted Aion differently. Cumont believed that Aion was unlimited time, who emerged from primordial chaos and created both heaven and earth. Depictions of Aion during this time often showed him as a winged, lion-headed, nude male whose torso was entwined by a serpent. He would also be shown holding a scepter, keys, and salus. Despite the many interpretations of Aion, he remains an enigmatic figure that continues to intrigue scholars and enthusiasts alike. His associations with different mythological beings and the multiple depictions of him throughout history have made him a fascinating and elusive figure in Greek mythology. There was once a syncretic god known as Aion in Greek mythology, who was incredibly important in the late Hellenic discourse. Many believe that Aion symbolized the perpetuity of Roman rule, making him an essential figure during that time. As a result, several emperors, including Antoninus Pius, had coins minted with the legend Aion, associating it with the phoenix, a symbol of rebirth and cyclical renewal. Aion was known to be a fluid conception, representing various ideas about time and divinity that converged during the Hellenistic era's context of syncretic and monotheistic tendencies. As a result of this, he was seen as one of the virtues and divine personifications that were believed to be creative agents within grand cosmological schemes. However, what was most notable about Aion was his malleability as a deity. He remained a fluid notion, allowing different ideas about time and divinity to converge seamlessly. Additionally, many Roman coins associated Aion with Eternitas, his Roman counterpart, which further emphasized his significance in Roman rule and perpetuity. Despite his importance, Aion's role varied depending on different contexts and interpretations. Some saw him as a youthful god of time, while others believed he was a manifestation of the cosmic cycle, continuously renewing the universe. Overall, Aion's complexity and fluidity made him an intriguing and enigmatic god in Greek mythology.
Do you want to explore more Greek mythology stories? Who do you want to see featured next? Subscribe and leave a comment below to let me know. I'll see you in the next video.